Greetings, class, and welcome to this module on inclusion and diversity. It's going to be an interesting week as we have a number of great articles for you to read. We have an article called Teaching Diversity and Democracy Across the Disciplines. I think that will be very informative and moving to you. We also have a overall article called Exploring Diversity. We have one on inclusion and inclusive classrooms for diverse students, as many of you in the New York City area and the Los Angeles area are dealing with very diverse classrooms. And then one by Alfred Tatum from Illinois, who talks about orienting African American male adolescents toward meaningful literacy instruction. But before we get into the assignments for the week, let me share with you my experiences with diversity. I have a unique perspective because as a kid growing up in the 1960s, I went to elementary school just outside of Dallas, Texas, and it was the time of the integration of school systems. For example, when I was in first and second grade, there was a school for black children, and there was a school for kids like me. And in this rural farming community, that meant that most of us were white, and probably 1/3 of the population was black. And so when I was in third grade, the schools came together. And it was very meaningful to me because I was able to mingle and learn and be with people that I'd only heard about before. And so I think that inclusive move by the government was very helpful for me to understand that all people are people, that we're all created equally under God, and that we're all friends. And so I went on to become best friends with a lot of African American kids as we played sports together, especially football. And that was one major move toward me to becoming more aware of diversity. Another moment came when I went to the University of Arizona to work on my PhD, and I was able to get a research assistantship with the renowned educator Yetta Goodman. And she had a federal grant working with American Indian kids in the schools in Arizona, just outside of Tucson, down toward Nogales, the Mexican border. And it was there that I really understood American Indians and the culture and how it varied and so forth. Later on, as dean at Northern Arizona University, I worked with the Navajo tribes and the Apache tribes in the northeast part of the state, and learned a lot about culture by being integrated. Well, not everyone has that opportunity, so I think as teachers, if we don't have that in our classrooms, there's a lot of things that we can teach and we should teach. You'll also read a chapter this week on diversity. I think it's chapter 2, and inclusion. I think that's good. The whole course has been about good strategies for diverse learners, because basically as a teacher we want to come to the kids with meaning in mind and setting in mind and experiences in mind. You only have one assignment. I'm not going to give you a test this week over the chapter 2. Instead, you only have one assignment. That's your diversity plan for your school. That can be tweaked and modified in certain ways, but overall I want you to show what you've learned both in your life and in the readings this week. So I wish you the very best as you work on that, and I look forward to reading it soon. Paka paka.